everyone, it's Lauren J. Welcome back, or welcome if you're new. I like to do get ready with me style videos using products that are new to me, or just need a little bit more love in my collection. Today I'm going to be using products that need more love in my collection, and we'll talk about the new Chanel Le Quatre release. So if you're interested in my thoughts, please keep watching. Welcome back. I did take the week off last week. I was on vacation, my first time going up north and spending time with friends, and it was really nice. I have felt so fatigued lately, just mentally, physically. I've just felt really fatigued, and I'm not sure what it's all about, but it is nice to just be able to relax and not have to do anything on the weekend. Not that I consider having to do a video a huge burden on me, but it's just nice to break routine every once in a while. So forgive me for skipping a few uploads this summer. I have just mentally needed a little bit of a change in routine. And I'm just going to use some classics, some favorites from my collection, some things that just need to be used up, and we'll talk about the Le Quatre Boutons release. Sorry for my French pronunciation. That sounds much nicer in my head, but I know coming out of my mouth it just sounds like an American trying to sound like a French person and completely missing the mark. So, but yes, it's just so nice to say Le Quatre Boutons, which is the four shadows buttons, the four button shadows, I guess. So this is the new release from Chanel for fall. It is very comparable to the tweed release that they did a couple years ago. The main selling point is that it is pretty and embossed, and there's 4 different ones, and they also have special covers on them. So the little case that it comes in, the little velvet case, has little different embossings and imprintings on it, which is very cool. I have chosen to opt out of the release, just like I chose to opt out of the tweed release. I'm just going to talk about my 2 favorites that I would have picked if I was picking anything up from this collection, and then we'll just go through the other 2 and see what I think. As per usual, skincare, sunscreen, brows, prime my lids, prime my face. We're trying a new sunscreen today. It is an all-natural mineral sunscreen. It smells a little odd, but I don't know, it's new. So far it has not irritated my skin, so that's always a plus. I use 3 pumps of it because you need a lot of sunscreen. But let's get into the eye look. We're just going to be doing my trusty favorite, the Ombres Boutons from Galant. This is 910 Undressed Brown, my favorite. I'm just going to be using the top 2 shades, the copper and the shimmery pale neutral. And of course I'm just going to go in to that shimmery shade with my index finger and pop it all over the lid for a nice base. So Le Quatre Boutons. So it's all about their codes. That's the marketing, is all about the codes of the house, and the boutons, which are the buttons. And the buttons, they make a big deal about that in their fashion releases. The buttons on the jackets, the classic Chanel jackets. And you know, it's got the 4 pockets, each one has a button, and you've got the buttons along the edge and all of this. It's very intrinsic to the codes of the house, as they like to say. And so this is paying homage to their fashion, which is, you know, the same thing the tweed collection was doing, is paying homage to an essential part of their fashion house, and also to their specialists. I can't remember what they're called. The Métier d'Art collection is always about the special houses that work with Chanel, the people that create the buttons, the people that weave the tweeds, the people that do the sewing, you know, the embroidery, and just all the different little houses that contribute to creating a piece of either haute couture or ready to wear. So that's kind of in the same vein again as the tweeds collection, is tying it all into the fashion collection, because if you can't own a piece of Chanel haute couture, and sadly I probably never will. I dream one day that I will, but sadly we all probably, a majority of people will probably never own a piece of Chanel Haute Couture, but you can own a piece of the makeup collection that is embossed with the style of those buttons. So the two that really intrigued me in terms of color story and embossing is first of all the Bouton Baroque, the 239. And this is just a beautiful color palette. It's a deep, deep purple, and the embossing on it is one of the Byzantine, I believe it's the Byzantine theme that they have done several times over the years. It's a deep, very intricate braiding and embossing and dotting and all of this stuff. It looks very metallic, and it's a design that I've seen over and over again, I think especially in their Byzantine themed collections. There's also this beautiful gold, sort of, I don't know if it's a deep gold or a pale gold. It's got an interlocking CC, of course. These all have interlocking CCs on them, and it's kind of like a sun ray pattern, except it's just kind of, you know, beautiful and spirally. And then you have this sort of floral pink, deep blush color. Looks very much like a flower, a very symmetrical. And then you have the more pale gold, pale pink gold, pale rose gold color with, again, the braiding, you know, paying homage to the Chanel chain, or the chien. I think I said that. I probably just said dog, but the chains of the, you know, the embroidered leather and chain strap. That is a signature for Chanel purses, for a lot of Chanel accessories. I think it is a really, really beautiful, beautiful color story. I have this color story. So I have this color story so many times over. This is at an $86 price point. So it is $2 less than the Tweed collection. That was an $88 price point, and that was 2 years ago. So I guess they technically are lowering their prices. I've heard that Chanel has been lowering, or at least freezing, their price raises or their price rises, however you want to say that, because of the economy and because luxury shopping has slowed down so much. I don't think that's ever going to be at an affordable price point unless the bottom really drops out. And even then, Chanel is not about making themselves accessible. It is just not in their wheelhouse. But this is a beautiful color story. I could see myself using that beautiful pink, rose gold, that beautiful deep blush color. I could see using the purple and the gold, the light gold or the deep gold, whatever it is, together. But at the end of the day, I have these colors. I have deep purples, I have rose golds and golds everywhere in my collection. And the reason that to get this collection would be to get the embossed sleeve. This one is just a interlocking CC with a couple of concentric circles on it. I don't want to pay $86 for this. If it was in the regular line and it was, you know, $68, you know, whatever, limited edition, hey, yeah, I could go for like a limited edition if there was maybe 2 quads in the collection and it didn't even have the special sleeve. Sure, maybe I'd go for it because it would seem, I guess, a little bit more special. But this is just, it's beautiful, but it's not beautiful enough and not unique enough and not collector-y enough for me to say I need that in my collection. Because at the end of the day, the embossing is going to go away, and I do have these colors probably more pigmented in my collection, and that's just going to be the theme for the rest of this video. So let's keep going with the eye look. I'm going to take one of my favorite brushes ever. This is the Sigma E45. It's a pointed crease brush. I'm going to go into this beautiful copper. You know how much I love a copper. And just do the outer V and a little bit of the crease. I'm so excited to use this quad more in fall. I love these colors so much, and they do work well for late summer as well. Wear whatever you want. It doesn't have to be seasonal. but it does give me fall feels, and we're heading that way. We're getting full force fall. All the marketing has started. So that's another video, but comfy cozy vibes are coming, and I am so ready for summer to just be gone. The other one that I would also consider picking up from this collection is 229 Boutons Stellaire. What it says in the name. Stars, stars on buttons. And so they're all very celestial themed. The embossings are spot on for what I love in sort of an astrology or a celestial themed collection. So pretty. This would have gone so beautifully with the collection that was released in 2023 for spring summer. That Rivage palette is my all-time favorite, and I use it all the time. And the embossing, the embossings are, you know, very comparable to what's going on in that collection. And I say that because I know one is more celestial and one is sea themed, but you have a star, the comet design, which could also be, it could also look like a sea star, a starfish. And then you have the sun, which could also go for beachy themes. And then you have just some of these like radiant sun ray themes, again, that just sort of go with skies and sea and sand. But it is just such a basic palette. It's just so basic. It's rose gold, it's gold, it's maybe copper and silver. It's metallic, I guess. Is it metallic? I don't know. The embossing on the velvet case is just, it says Chanel Paris, and then it is just 4 little circles. It's basically a button that says Chanel Paris. It's not blowing me away. The embossings in the shadow do really draw me in, and I do love a beautiful metallic. This is super functional, really beautiful if you just want a really nice bright eye, a bright neutral eye. But again, I have these colors a zillion times over in my collection. $86 for these colors and a basic embossing on the velvet case is not what I'm here for. Again, I think it's beautiful. If money were no object, sure, I'd probably go out and collect all of them. I have that collector mentality where it's like, ooh, this is really special, I need this. And I understand the concept of the buttons in Chanel lore, but again, it's just not, the color story is just not special enough for me. We're going to go in with espresso liner. Let me know if you picked up any of these, if you just couldn't resist. No judgment at all. Absolutely no judgment at all. I have bought things just for the embossing. I have bought things just because they're limited edition. I have always tried to make use of them in my collection in a way that fits into my collection. But absolutely, I'm not judging anyone for picking these up. I am just saying why they did not seem special enough to me at this time in my makeup purchasing, because I have been buying makeup for a really long time. I've had this channel for over 10 years, and so I've gone through a lot of phases in my makeup. This is my second phase, my second big phase of buying Chanel makeup and being a Chanel customer. First in my 20s and now as a person in my 40s. It's more fun when you have more money to buy Chanel. And I did not have that in my 20s. I have more of it now, but you know, things change quickly in this day and age, so you do have to be careful. But if you picked one or two or all of these up, let me know, and let me know what you plan. Do you plan to incorporate them into your routine? Do you plan to just hoard them like a dragon? That's totally cool. What are your thoughts? Let me know. I go in with my Le Character de Chanel. Okay, so we have 2 more Le Ombres Boutons to go over. These are the 2 that I would not pick. Again, not saying that I don't like them. Again, if money were no object, I'd just pick all of them up. And by the way, there's all but one that is sold out on the Chanel site right now. I don't know about boutiques. I haven't been in contact with the sales assistant that I usually purchase from. So I don't know what's available in the boutiques, if they're sold out or not. I have fallen out of the loop on that, but the next one would be the classic one. That is still available on the site, and that is 209 Bouton Mademoiselle. Basic. I cannot stress enough, basic color story. And if that is your thing, do your thing and be basic and love it. But it is pretty comparable to other releases that they have put out for holiday in terms of the embossing. There's a number 5. There's a number 5 perfume bottle. There's a star with a CC. There's a shamrock, all emblematic of basic charms that have come out and are, again, codes of the house. These have been around, these themes have been around for a very long time in very different iterations. And because of that, is the sleeve any better on this? It's again just a different version of a button with the 4 holes in the center, and then it says Paris Chanel as opposed to the other one that says Chanel Paris. Okay. Nothing super exciting about this one. There's 2 pinks, lighter, slightly lighter, and then a brown, pretty neutral. I have a lot of neutral browns, and then basically this shade. That's it. So I need more. I need more than that. I know this is probably, if this is the first time you've seen these embossings, maybe you got really excited. That's cool. It's not the first time I've seen these, and the colors are just, I don't need that. I don't need it. Again, I'm not hating on these. I'm just saying why my brain just says, no, you don't need to spend $86 on 4 shades that you have 800, again, 800, 8,000, 8 million times over in your collection. No. I just spent $40 on stationery yesterday or the day before. So, you know, my habits. I bought a bunch of stickers and a notebook and some pens that I did not need, because that is currently my obsession right now. So again, buy what you want, spend your money how you want, just do it wisely and make sure you're not overextending yourself. Because that's always the danger, right? When you're a collector of anything and you want to keep up, but also when it comes to things like Chanel, you got to be careful because you can overdo it very, very quickly. You think you're just buying a few things, but those very few things could be, you know, over $400. And I don't know how much of your paycheck that is, but that's a good chunk of my paycheck. So you just got to be mindful. Again, do what you want with your life, spend your money how you want. I'm just saying, be mindful. 219 Bouton Couture. This is the beautiful chocolatey one. When I first saw this is one of the first images that came out months and months and months, probably a year ago. I saw this on Instagram and I thought, oh, it's a chocolate themed collection, because they kind of looked like they were, I don't know, Godiva chocolates or something, you know. And then I looked again and I'm like, oh, no, these are buttons. And that's kind of how I knew what the theme was long before they introduced what the theme was. It's a beautiful, beautiful color story. It's a brown, a chocolate color story. I think that is stunning. Again, I don't need any more brown in my collection. Why? Because I have so many. I have 2 browns in here. These are beautiful browns. I love them. I will wear these, again, I will wear them all fall. I'm wearing my espresso liner today. I love all the shades of light brown, deep brown. I love the way that they contour my eyes. I love the way they can go very, very deep and velvety. But for $86, again, for embossing, I've seen before, for the most part. There are some very interesting, different sort of, the top 2, I would say, are the most interesting. The sort of spiral, and then again, the one with the chain and the CC in the middle. Those are different. Two on the bottom, you have quilting. Again, it's the signature quilting on the classic Chanel flap. And then you have tweed. And it's tweed. It's literally the same embossing that was on the Le Delice quad from 2022, I think. And I have that quad. I mean, I can look at it right now. There's still some of the embossing left on my least used shades in that collection. It's the same thing. And on here, it's just this beautiful, rich, almost coppery brown, or maybe silvery brown. I can't tell. It's hard to see. And what does the sleeve look like on this one? Oh, this one is more of, it's a little bit more intricate. It's CC. It's a big CC on a background of other CCs. Cool. Well, I'm sure many people pick this one up just because I think it is probably the most practical one. Again, you have the ability to go very deep, very light, contour, do a lot of shading and beautiful things, and it's just rich and versatile. I feel like this is a more versatile, and this is from their core line. This is from, and well, it's Guerlain's core line, but this is from their core line, and this is limited edition, and it's 4 shades of brown. Yeah, and I know I'm speaking harshly, but I'm mostly just speaking harshly to myself because my brain needs to understand these things. That you do not need an $86 quad saying to me, I do not need an $86 quad of brown. Going into Morning Dew Balm Essentiel. I find that these talking videos, where I'm not really paying attention to my makeup, but I'm also just chatting about other things, can get very long because I just start ranting or going on a stream of consciousness or just tangenting, and 40 minutes later I have to edit out a bunch of stuff, especially me going and and ah and confusing embroidering with embossing. And this is the Le Beige Healthy Winter Glow in Rose Polaire. Just adds a nice glow over top of Morning Dew. It is fun to just chat sometimes about these things, even if it really doesn't go anywhere. It's hopefully at least a little cathartic for you, and you can understand where I'm coming from on whether I want to buy something or not. I'm not saying that I'm being reasonable about any of this stuff. I can buy something for irrational reasons as well. I frequently do. But in this case, I just did not feel like having $400 worth of quads stacked on my vanity, trying to find a place for them in my collection, and then feeling bad that I have $400 of quads stacked on my vanity. My Rose, this is the Rouge Coco Balm. And yeah, I'm not gonna say cash grab because, I mean, duh. I mean, they're in the business of selling makeup. That's the point, is to get your cash. But I don't always understand the point of these limited edition 4 quad releases. I think they get a lot of hype, which is cool for them. And it's cool for the community to speculate, which, you know, that's fun. But it gets increasingly more and more tiresome as you've been through a few rounds of this. And you're just like, this isn't really tied to any collection. It's just sort of tied to reminding you that Chanel exists and that you want it. And again, I'm not immune to any of this marketing. I frequently fall for it. But this release, it does make sense, but it doesn't make sense for me to purchase it. So that's where I've fallen with this. I'm excited to see what the fall release looks like. I'm excited to see what the holiday release looks like. I heard that some of you have already seen the holiday release. That sounds very cool. I haven't seen it on Instagram. I haven't seen any sneak peeks. But it sounds like a lot of you are excited for that, so that's very cool. I'm very happy with my collection as it stands right now. As you can see, I'm very happy with it. But I'm always excited to see what's new. And Also to check out other brands, which I wanted to branch out more this year and I just haven't, whether that's just from makeup fatigue in general or just putting all of my resources into Chanel, where I just don't need anything different right now, or I'm not really being experimental or changing it up a whole lot. So there's also that, but I am excited to see what's coming up for my favorite time of year, and I hope that you're also excited to see the new makeup as well. Let me know what you think about this collection. Again, if you picked anything up, not judging you, I'd be excited to hear about what you think about these and if you really love them. That's exciting for me that you're excited. All right, well, thank you guys so much for watching. This is the finished look. It's gonna be very basic. I'm gonna put on some jewelry. I'm gonna go get some groceries and then maybe just toddle around for the rest of the day. It's Saturday. I can do what I want. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Any of those would be welcome. All of them would be deeply, deeply appreciated. And I will see you in the next one.